Welcome yogis, Tina here. I'm going to guide you through a yoga practice for back pain and sciatica. Now, surprisingly, I am not going to have you stretch your low back at all. What I am going to have you do is strengthen the muscles around the low back. Surprised by that? A lot of times your low back pain is not at all muscle related. In fact, it is disc related or ligament related. What most people are lacking is core stability to keep their back in alignment and not cause back pain. Take a quick peek at this. Now look at these two photos of myself. In the first one, I'm sitting how most people would, potentially at a work day, at a computer, at a desk. There's zero engagement of my core happening right here. My tailbone is scooped under, my spine is rounded, my shoulders are forward, and I'm somewhat hunched in my upper back. There's absolutely no work of my core here. Versus when I pull myself forward, sit up tall, I gain length in my spine. My core muscles are working. My tailbone is no longer scooped under. My shoulders are not crowded forward. Most importantly, my core stabilizing muscles are engaged. So they're protecting my low back from pressing out or forward, just keeping me nice and upright. So what we're going to do in this class today is focus on strengthening those core stabilizers through a yoga flow. There's no need to stretch your low back if you're having pain. There's no need to recreate any of that really sagging forward fold motion when that is probably what is causing a lot of your low back issues. So if you're with me to stop stretching and to start strengthening, let's get into it. Come lie down. While you're laying down on your back, the legs are nice and long, I want you to take one of your hands and just slide it underneath your back. So you'll feel that natural curvature of your spine and it's away from your mat. Now keep that hand there, take your belly button and press your belly button down towards the mat. And now you can feel your back squishing your hand and your core is completely activated. Now relax it. Remove that hand and once again, take your belly button and press it down towards the mat. Let the arms go, but keep the belly button engaged and we'll breathe here a few breaths. So notice how challenging this can be to just keep belly button pressing down, actively engaging your core muscles when you're simply just laying down on your back. Take a couple more breaths here. And then let it go. A lot more of your body was engaged when you're just using the core stabilizers. Taking this one step further, the left foot will plant on the mat. Take your belly button again, draw down towards the mat, hold there, and float your right leg off the mat. Press out through that right heel and don't forget to keep your belly button pressing down. Breathe. Don't forget about breathing. Check in, belly button pressing down. And then let the leg go, release your core and extend left leg onto the mat. To the other side, let's plant right foot down. First part, belly button down, engage your core, and now add the floating of that left leg. Deep breath, breathing strongly, belly button down, press out through that left heel. Keep your strong core and then let the leg go. Release your core and right leg is long. Stretch the arms up overhead. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Then the arms come down by your sides. Plant both feet on the mat this time. The knees aren't touching and the feet are about hips width distance. Bend the elbows so that the fingertips are facing up towards the ceiling and you're going to use the arms against the mat here. First part, as always, belly button presses down. You'll feel the tailbone scoop right away from the mat. Keep that engagement, press the arms down and lift your hips away from the mat. So now that the hips are lifted, you're still pressing your belly button towards the spine. Arms are pressing down, feet are pressing down. Strong work of the legs and the low back. Find your breath. and then let it go. So the hips come down, arms can rest by your sides. Take a couple breaths and then we'll go one more time. Set the arms down, fingertips facing up, belly button down. Inhale, let the hips rise. Steady breath. Press the arms, press the feet. Don't lose the engagement of your core. And then slowly release. Arms can rest down, legs down by the sides. Again, sweep the arms back, take a breath in and out. Now let's come up to sit. Let the legs stay out in front of you. So sitting up tall is one of the first ways that you can see just how strong your core muscles are. A lot of times when we're sitting, we've got a chair back to hold us up, so we lose everything at the core. If you've ever seen a little baby learning to sit, they have the most awesome posture because they have no idea what it's like to lean back and sit back into a chair. So keeping the legs out in front of you, I want you to press out through the heels and the toes are flexed back towards you. Keeping the hands down on your legs to start, see if you can bring the tailbone straight down, belly button back, and shoulders down and back. So just sitting as super tall as you can, and it should feel like work. This is not easy. If at any point it becomes just a little too much to bear, let the fingertips tent behind you, but not so that you can rest down, but to help you prop yourself up to sit nice and tall. We're going to breathe here. Keep pressing out through the heels. Keep engaging the core, belly button in. Shoulders relaxing. Much harder than it sounds, sitting up tall. And then release. You can let the hands go back, let the legs soften, give a little shake and a turn. From here, we come forward to your hands and knees. Setting up for some plank poses. So we'll set up a long plank by stepping each of the feet back. Your shoulders are over your wrists and the heels should be stacked over the balls of the feet. Now if this is a little too much, the knees drop right down and everything is the same. Focusing on not letting the whole pelvis and the belly button drop down as I'm doing right now. You want to hug the navel to the spine. And you want this diagonal line. So here I am with knees down. I've still got a diagonal line. I'm looking down towards the mat. And if my knees were lifted, same thing. Pelvis is not resting down. You should not feel any crunching on the low back area. And if you are, it could be that the hips are sagging too low. So press everything nice and tall. Arms are activated. Take one more breath in. And then drop the knees down. Let's come down to the forearms and let the belly button and the hips drop down, untuck your toes. Here you are in your Sphinx pose. Here's one where the shoulders like to scrunch up towards the ears. Keep active in the shoulders and the upper body by pressing the arms down and lifting the crown of the head up. Couple breaths. Then we'll take it one step further. So let the arms go out by your sides so that you're laying down, forehead to the mat. The palms are facing down by the sides. And on your next inhale, let's reach the heart away from the mat. Press the legs down, look down, and the arms can float. So you're building back core strength now. Then release the forehead down. And we'll take one more. Pull the head away, pull the heart away, roll the shoulders down. Instead of looking straight out in front of you and straining the neck, look down. Strong back, strong core. And then as you release, the hands come underneath your forehead. Rest the forehead down. Bend into the knees, and you can windshield wiper the feet side to side to give some release to the low back. So from here, let the legs go, hands to the mat. You're going to press yourself up through to a quick child's pose. Let the hips fall back towards the heels. And then to your downward dog. Tuck the toes under and the hips rise. Bend the knees so you can walk the hands backwards to the feet. Hands to hips. Lead with your heart, come up with a flat back. And we'll find a chair pose from here. So the feet are touching, the toe mounds are touching, and the heels have some separation at them. I want you to take one hand to the low belly and one hand to the low back. Now press your belly button towards your spine and feel the tailbone drop down. That's when your core is engaged, not when the belly button is pressing forward and your tailbone is pressing back. So once you find that alignment where the belly button is in and the tailbone is down, hold that and bend into your knees. You can keep the hands here to remind yourself to keep the tailbone straight down and belly in. If you feel you can keep that, let's float the arms all the way up, chair pose. If you're with me, we'll take 3 rounds of arm circles. So hands can start at heart center. Inhale, the arms sweep up. Exhale, down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Straighten the legs. Give a pedaling to release. Then we're going to take the arms up. Bend the knees again. Lead with your heart as you forward fold. Walk out to your high plank pose. So hands forward, feet back again. Practice knees lifted or knees lowered. You're keeping the arms straight, pressing down, belly button to your spine. The hips should not be sagging down. Now let's all drop knees down. Shift the feet to the left. Walk the hips back. So you're coming to a seated position. This will be the last shape we find. It's your Upavishta, so a wide leg, a V shape with the legs. Similar to when we were sitting with our legs connected, we're focusing on sitting upright as tall as you can to engage your core while you're sitting. At any point, the fingertips can tent back behind you, straight arms to help you to sit up tall, and then you build more strength by resting the hands on the tops of the legs and relying solely on the core. So things to look for: press out through the heels so you have strong active legs, belly button to spine, shoulders are down, and when belly button is the spine, the tailbone is naturally scooped under or straight down, which is what you're going for. Hopefully you are feeling the strength being built around the hips, around the low back. Hands behind you, give the ankles a circle. And then bring the feet into touch. Bump the hips close towards the heels. And we'll sit here, tucking the chin to the chest. And then look forward. And that's all, folks. That's what I've got for you today to not stretch the low back, but to strengthen the low back. Over time, the more strength that you build in your core should release some of the pain that you have in your low back. Thanks for hanging out. My name is Tina. This is Tina's Yoga Room. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe just below. Namaste.